What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Classic Octane. I am Taylor. It has been a minute, as you guys know. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you have no idea where I've been. So let me fill you in real quick. Late last year, my wife and I found out that she was pregnant with our first child, and I went into panic mode and needed to remodel our kitchen ASAP. I know that sounds ridiculous, but we had a really gross kind of 1970s kitchen that the tile floor was impossible to clean. The cabinets were falling apart. We wanted to remodel it since I bought this house like 6 years ago, and finding out we were having the baby and it's on the way was all the motivation I need to jump on that project. So that's what I did for a couple of months. I'll throw some pictures up now if you guys are curious of how that turned out. Then baby came in March. She's doing incredible. She just turned 6 months old. The first 6 months of dad life has been incredible. That's the only word for it. It's been awesome. I've been fully focused on that for the last 6 months, which is why you haven't really heard from me except for occasional Instagram posts. So that's what I've been doing. Full-time parent, just doing that thing. Now we're finally to the point where I have somebody to help take care of her at least a couple of days a week. So I'm dying to get back out in the shop. So we're here. First things first, I have a really big project, probably the biggest project ever on the channel coming up. I already bought it. It's out in the yard, ready to get pulled in, but I want to get a new tool installed in the shop that's going to make our life a ton easier. And here is the tool in question. So these are called MaxJax. If you're not familiar with what these are, they've been around for probably a decade or so. And it is a 2-post lift that is designed to work in standard ceiling heights. So I only have 8-foot ceilings in here. So obviously a full-size lift isn't an option. So this is the next best thing. So it works just like a regular 2-post lift where you have 2 arms on each side that swing under the car. You lift it up. With this car, I should be able to get, I think, roughly 4 feet, maybe like 44 inches or something like that, clear under the car when it's lifted up, which is going to be so much better than working on jack stands. When I built this car, I literally built the exhaust on my back with maybe 18 inches of clearance underneath the car. So this is going to be way better, way easier for suspension, anything, wheels, tires, all that kind of stuff. This is going to be a life changer. And for me, as an old man now, my back is going to thank me. These are also movable, which is awesome. So what I mean by that is it has the holes through the base plate. We are going to install concrete anchors. That's the name of the game today. You roll this over using these little dolly wheels, bolt it on, use the lift just like you normally would. Everything's good to go. As soon as you're done, I'll probably leave that one in place. This one I'll unbolt, and I literally just wheel it over here, put it next to the wall, and then I have full clearance just like I would if nothing was installed. The anchors we're going to use are going to be flush mount, so I'm not even going to have little nubs sticking up. So I'll have full normal garage access. As soon as we have a bigger project or we need it, I'll be able to wheel them back over, bolt them down. Everything will be nice and safe. So I believe they're roughly in the right position. I'm going to confirm that, and then we're going to start drilling some concrete. Well, moment of truth time. I got it marked out on the floor over here. It says to use the base plate as the template and just drill through it to make sure the holes are all lined up properly. So that's what I'm going to do. 7/8 bit. I marked it down here 5 inches. It looks like 8 to me, but 5 inches down because that's my ideal depth for our anchors. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. Little update, I got my 5 holes drilled. I went ahead and did the first anchor just to familiarize myself with how it works. But basically there's a sacrificial bolt here. You screw it all the way in, and then you set this nut and washer 5/8 of an inch from the top. We hammer this in all the way to where the washer touches the concrete. Then hold the top bolt and tighten this guy up. You're supposed to tighten it up to 90 foot-pounds. For the life of me, I can't figure out how you'd get a torque wrench on there to be able to do that. So I'm going very tight, and then I'll look up if there's a way to, maybe I'll get like a claw foot socket or something where I can kind of have the torque wrench off to the side. Otherwise, I'll have to figure that out later, but we're just getting them mostly installed now, and if I need to come back and adjust anything, I can. Double checking the instructions again, it's actually these bolts that get torqued to 90 foot-pounds. So We got this side all done. All 5 are in and tight. That's ready to go. Now I'm gonna move on to this side. I'm gonna push the car out of the way so that I can set up a laser, make sure these things are perfectly in line, double check our distance between, and just make sure everything's good to go. Then I'll knock out these 5, and we're about ready to test this thing. Got this side all installed, got the arms in place, power unit hooked up, quick connect hydraulic lines. Guess I'm ready to plug this thing in for the first time. Okay, no smoke, that's a good sign. I'm just gonna lift it up, we're gonna test it. Can't think of anything else, so I should be able to just hit this button, let's see. Okay, they're going up evenly, that's good. I didn't have to do any kind of bleeding procedure or anything. Since this is used, you know, the guy before me did that. Okay, so there's little pins that need to drop down to lock the legs in place. So when there's a car on here, I guess you want to kind of shake them and make sure they're all engaged. Still a decent amount of movement, but with a car there, that shouldn't be a problem. Obviously this is meaningless from a percentage of weight. There. That's the first set of locks. So once you pass it, then I should be able to, so then that should be locked into place, ready to work. I did go ahead and order a couple of heavy duty, tall, what would you call it? Kind of like a jack stand, pipe jack kind of thing, just to have some extra support. If I ever am under the car, I'm just gonna have some redundant stuff just to make sure I stay safe for obvious reasons. I mean, that looks pretty good. I think we're ready to pull a car in, try it for real. Probably get some kind of bumper, something, pool noodle or whatever to make sure I don't hit my door on that. Okay, here we go. Going to be extra cautious, obviously, on the subframe. Not quick to the frame yet on the back. Looking good. All right. Let's keep going. Tires are off the ground. Everything seems to be nice and solid. This is about as high as I'll ever go. It's perfect height for working on suspension, brakes, anything like that. It's right at chest height. I can just stand here super comfortably. Front and back, of course. Super easy access to, I mean, just everything. Like, obviously walking under a lift is better than this, but this is a little tight. I might end up moving this shelf. Every other wheel and tire I can get to nice and easy. Plenty of room underneath should I have a car that we need to pull the engine out of the bottom, you know, lift the body off a subframe or anything like that. This is more than enough clearance for that, which is ideal. Plenty of room on this side. I mean, this is incredible. From going from, like I said earlier in the video, working on jack stands to having this much clear space under the car. Wow. So once those two pole jacks get here, my plan is like I'll run one in the center of the front subframe and probably one under the back diff, just for additional points of contact and safety before I actually get underneath it. But man, life-changing. And just like that, she's back on the ground. I mean, wow. This is going to be awesome. I'm super stoked on this. It worked exactly like I expected it to. Plenty of clearance underneath. It's going to be sweet. So obviously there's a couple of things I want to do on the Camaro that this will be helpful for, but the main reason I got this and installed it is because of that big project I teased earlier in the video. So the next video you guys see on the channel will be motorcycle related. Then the one after that is going to be announcing the big project. So right now I'm not going to try and promise X amount of videos per week or anything like that. I don't want to kind of overpromise and underdeliver. I've done that before and I want to avoid it. But I am back in the shop as much as possible, making videos. I'm super thankful for everybody who's not only watched this video to this point, but also just stuck with the channel, didn't unsubscribe, just stayed with me while I went through these big changes in my life. So super excited to be back out in the shop. I'm going to stop jibber jabbering, get back to work. I'll see you then.